This is all about a struggle for people. And trade unions like my trade union, the Maritime Union of Australia, are no different to any other organisation that won't stand idly by and watch working men and women's communities be destroyed just for the sake of corporate greed. We in the union movement, particularly the Maritime Union of Australia, have a long history of supporting such activities like this one at WestCONnex. The community out here really need to be applauded for their courage, for their tenacity, for their ability to organise other organisations having similar problems. We're all about, the union is here because we believe in community. We believe that the community has a right to survive, the same as anyone in society. It's very sad when you get the likes of Baird/Berejiklian turn around and say to the people down here, we don't care what happens to you. We don't care about you. We don't care about your houses. We don't care about the trees. All we care about is so-called progress. Well, this is not progress. When you're throwing someone out of their home, or when you're taking away their green space, this is not progress. This was never discussed with the community down here. It was just a bulldozer approach, literally, to say to them, you're out of business. By the way, that's at the end of the section. Don't bother about protesting, and when you do, we'll bring the full force of the police down against you. The Maritime Union of Australia, I'm proud to say, are not going to stand idly by and let this happen.
We acknowledge we're actually meeting on the Gadigal people's land of the Eora Nation, and we pay their respects to their elders, past, present and to come. Second thing I want to say is huge thank you to the MUA. I can't tell you what a huge boost it's been to our campaign to get your support. It has been fantastic, and it's been a morale boost, but it's been a real material boost, and it's wonderful to see you all down here today. So thank you so much. And I'd add to that, thank you particularly for the resolution that I know you're going to sponsor at Unions New South Wales. That is a fantastic addition to the whole fight. It means that the whole story about what's wrong with this damn road and this project is going to get across to so many more people. And I sincerely hope it gets up, but that's the real payoff, that people start to learn what a bad project this is. And if you've been walking down Campbell Road and Campbell Street and you're just looking out onto Euston Road, you can see the damage that's done already. Campbell Street in St Peters and Haverfield look more like scenes out of Aleppo or Palestine today than they look like Sydney suburbia. And that is a disgrace. And I have to say, yes, this is an environmental campaign. We don't want to lose trees. We don't want to lose parkland. We know that the addition of roads just means more vehicles. It means more vehicle pollution. We don't think that this is a transport issue. This is not about transport or even about traffic congestion. What we think that first and foremost, this is a class issue because it is about privatisation, because it is about tolls. It's about imposing costs on us as ordinary workers and workers' families, which we really should not have to bear. What we need is more decent public transport, not more roads to induce more traffic, which they can then make a bloody fortune out of at huge tolls. So that's why we think it is fantastic that the union movement is starting to get a wake up to realise what a bloody awful project this is. And I want to say, yes, we're damn glad to see the back of the Baird government. The Baird government was one of the governments most keen on privatisation. The Baird government, more than any other I've ever seen, rules for the 1%. What we don't know is what Berejiklian's going to be like. But that's why we have to keep the pressure up. And so as long as we're standing here, we're going to fight. We've got the support of people like the MUA. We know that we're actually on the right road. So thank you again. I can't thank you enough.
To the people out here protesting the WestCONnex, I must apologise. It's my first time here. I should have been here a long time ago, because communities all over New South Wales should be backing this, because we're all suffering under this Liberal National Party. They are not there. They don't understand the C word, and that's consultation. They skipped the C word, went straight to D, as a dictator. And that's what they've been doing to us. They've been dictating. They want to put a road through your community. They want to destroy my community. They want to destroy Waterloo community. They want to destroy the Ivanhoe Estate up Macquarie community. And I've been down the south coast and seen the carnage that they're wrecking down there. This is this Liberal National Party's agenda, and it's all against the working class and the low income earners. Now this road has a correlation with us in town, in Millers Point and Waterloo and Glebe and other areas. The correlation is that they're building a bloody big road to bring people into the city. Now down in the city, when they get there, where they're going to park, it's going to be a friggin' big muzzle. So what happens is, we say that rather than build a road in the city, make better transport and build more houses, keep the ones you got, stop selling them, build more houses so the people that work in the city can live in the city.
And he also speaks with a lot of determination. And we're going to
in 130 days straight of community action down here at this camp. That is an impressive effort when you know that 130 days is not just over the hottest days that we've had this summer, but also over the time of Christmas and New Year and holidays when actually most people want to be spending it with their family and their friends, and instead we see this vile Liberal government using that time to come and destroy our beautiful parkland here. Parkland, and I should begin by acknowledging that we are here on the land of the Gadigal people and pay our respect to their elders, past, present and emerging. It always was and always will be Gadigal land, and we should acknowledge that and recognise that if anybody has the right to decide what happens to this parkland, it is actually the Gadigal people and their elders, not Mike Baird or now Gladys Berejiklian or anyone else like Stuart Ayres who thinks he's a bit of a special new minister for WestCONnex. I'd also like to acknowledge the MUA coming down here today. I have seen the faces of the beautiful people that have been down here camping for the 130 days. From when we first set up the camp down there at 8 o'clock in the morning when my baby was a couple of months old and I chucked on a dress and tried to look like I'd had some sleep and pretend I was focused when really I hadn't had any sleep at all and had no idea what I was doing. But we all rocked up down there and we all decided that basically we were planning at some point that we might need to engage in direct action and camp, and that now was the time. And some of those incredible people have been here almost every day since. And if I looked at some of their faces and the tears flowing down their faces when we saw them come in and construct this fence that you can see here and start the chainsaws run by the private contractors, I was really worried about them and what that would mean for the future of this camp. But then I saw some folks in MUA t-shirts with MUA flags come down one day just earlier this year, and I came back down to the camp the next day and you could see the lift. You could see the lift in those incredible community activist faces to have the boost and the support of such a strong union that has stood strong with the community on so many issues and against a neoliberal conservative agenda. And so it is a massive thank you that I say to the MUA for throwing your support behind this community action, and an acknowledgement that while it would have been good to see Barney here before, it is wonderful to have him here today, because if anybody knows the struggles of the attacks of the conservative agenda of the Liberal government, it is actually the people that are living in public housing communities across this state.
Yes, sir.
I just want to put the challenge to everybody that is here, and that is to make sure that you don't ever forget that this is not a road project. This is not an infrastructure project. This is not an attempt to provide any new service to our communities that we need. What it is 33 kilometres of road that will bulldoze our neighbourhoods, destroy our green space, be required to pay up to $25 tolls to be able to use it, and all of that money, that $16.8 billion of that money, is going to go from public hands into private hands. All of that toll profit is going to go into the profits of certain evil fuckers that actually think that they can line their pockets with individual folks in Western Sydney that are apparently this tollway is going to be helping. Well, it's not helping them, and it's not helping us as we lose our trees. And if Gladys Berejiklian, the new Premier of New South Wales, thinks for a second that putting a special minister in there to handle WestCONnex is the way she's going to solve this problem, then this is really wrong.
I'd personally like to apologise for not being down here before and supporting you over the last 12 months, but we're here now. we've had a lot to fight for in Waterloo. There's 4,500 people there about to be moved out of their homes, and God knows where they're going to go. They say they're going to build some wonderful homes for us, but a lot of those people are going to go out into never. However, that's not what I'm here for. Firstly, I'd like to thank Barney too for all of his support, but more especially Jenny Leon, who's been behind supporting us from the beginning of last year when she helped us put together a petition. And to get it into momentum, the Aboriginal community assisted come in with us, and we formed the tent embassy with the white people and the black people on the Waterloo Green, which really shook the government up. Like that time they thought it was another land grab. But we weren't the land grabbers. It was the Liberal Party who was the land grabbers, and the private enterprise that wants to take it over. I'm not going to go on too much about the Waterloo Green, except that I have a meeting tonight with the whole team, and in that meeting we'll be pledging solidarity towards your cause down here. And we hope that we all combine each other in future fights. Thank you.
Before I start, I want to acknowledge the Aboriginal people, our past and present. I also want to acknowledge the people who have been in camp for so long. I know it's a stressful occupation, and it's wonderful that you've been here for 130 days. I'm not built for camping, so I really, really admire you. So you have my admiration and our support. I also have to acknowledge also the MUA. You know, what a great union and what a great thing they've done a few weeks ago and today. So thank you to the MUA. In the news today, you'll be pleased to know that Lane Cove is in the news today. Lane Cove is the most boring suburb in Sydney. It is boring because everybody in Lane Cove is on about the same economic level. And that's what's going to happen today. Could you imagine Newtown being like Lane Cove? That's what they want Newtown to be. That's what they want Waterloo to be. That's what they want Glebe to be, Millers Point to be. They want us all to be on a level, and anybody who's got long hair, looks a bit funny, has a few problems, you can go to Ulladulla, you can go to Wilton, you can go to the other side of Katoomba. We don't want you. That's what the government's saying, and that's why we're here today. Action for Public Housing says public housing is important. It's part of our housing system. We must support it. We must support public housing. We must support public transport, not this sort of private shit called WestCONnex. We must support public education, and that's why we're here today. This is a struggle to keep our resources, and they want to send them off.
I think that Sydney is a really beautiful city, and I think that, like, what's happening at the SCA is connected here because the Liberal government is trying to drive our access, like, take our access away from public spaces, take poor people away from their homes, take parks away from the public to gather at, and then take art schools away from so students don't even get to study interesting things. Sorry if I'm not the most coherent speaker. But yeah, so it's what you guys have done here is amazing, and the fact that you've managed to sustain this occupation during a heat wave is like really impressive, I think. And we can't just sit back and let people take our city away from us.
Thank you very much, everyone, for that warm welcome. Good to be back in the trenches. Been missing in action for a while, but we have. Sorry, I'm not manipulating the doohickey here, so maybe if you move over where the sound is. Yeah, we have our own trenches and our own battles, and I've been a bit busy with a few of those. Most recent being down there in Canberra, where we took the proclamation of our sovereignty up to the white man's institution, the Parliament, and read the proclamation out there. We assert our sovereignty for all Australians to know and see. Our country was invaded. Our people were slaughtered as a consequence of that invasion. Our birthright has been usurped ever since. I should be a beggar, a billionaire, not a beggar. Our people are all beggars because this system has denied our existence and our inherent rights since they came here. Our battle is with to recognise bandwagon that's going around the country, whether we want to be included in the Constitution. I personally do not want to have any part of a document that was designed to continue the ignorance of our people. We need a treaty. Our people at the embassy have said that since 1972, when it was set up. Land rights was the issue then. Land is still very much an issue for our people today, being stolen, being handed over to the real monsters of this country, the Twiggies and the Genas, to rape the land indiscriminately. Our mother is in deep distress, the land we call Australia today. She's in deep distress. And when she kicks back, all I can tell you is be on high ground away from the water. The battles are all tending to converge, I think, in the state of New South Wales. We've had Baird backflip his way right out of office, and now we have to contend with Gladys. I think maybe we should be sitting at the table with Gladys and discussing all of these issues and seeing some more backflips from the state government, WestCONnex being one of the main ones. She's a former treasurer. It should be fiscally based and evidence-based about WestCONnex. We all know it's an abject failure, designed for big business interests always, and we, the people on the ground, get forgotten and get trodden all over in the process. That's why I say I'm glad to be back in the trenches again with your mob. We have to fight. We've always stood and fight for our rights as sovereign people in our own land. We are proud to stand with any other of our supporters who also agree that this is stolen land, and every fiscal dollar we talk about is stolen money. We welcome your presence here and the time you have been here fighting this battle against the state government. They've changed gears, so let's do the same, ratchet up a notch. Go directly to Gladys. Let's see how good she backflips. Whether she can do I got to give Baird a 10 for a couple of those backflips. They were doozies. The greyhounds, sadly, another instance where animals are treated better than humans in this country. We went through it with Wick, where sheep and cattle had more rights than us on our land. Welcome to our nightmare. This will continue if we don't stand united and fight with all our breath and our strength to stop it. I congratulate you mob on this battle. You have certainly made them all stand up and take notice. Every tree defended and saved is more oxygen for our children in the future. Remember that. We live in a very beautiful part of the city, but I think it's been overdeveloped to death. I suggest to the state government, if you want to build metro, build a line on the peninsula up there around Manly somewhere, where they don't have trains, right up to Palm Island, and then us poor darkies take a right up there and see how you rich fellas do it up on Palm Island. What is it, home and away, whatever they do up there? Palm Beach, that's it. I was thinking of poor brother Lex, Palm Island. The battle they have up there, taking it all the way to the Supreme Court in Queensland and getting a decision for compensation, only to have the Queensland government support the Queensland police in an appeal against that decision. The racism continues. It's here in our face every day. The stubbornness of developers and the government that lay down for them is here in our faces every day. WestCONnex is a classic example. Fight on. I love your little camp. I'd like to see a few more of our colours, red, black and yellow. I'll certainly bring some flags down here and put them up. And please believe we are standing with you. I just haven't been here in the physical form, but my spirit just lives over the other side of that hill in a little house in Lawrence Street, so I'm close and I can feel you. Power to you and continue the struggle. Thank you very much.
It's a pity the boys and girls in blue don't stand up and fight for the communities either, but they're serving the interest of Macquarie Street, as we're well aware, because the big end of town are ruling this country. Comrades, I just want to firstly acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that we meet here today. This is stolen land, and we've got to acknowledge every time that we convene in any format, in any way, in struggle or in our meetings, to recognise the traditional owners of this very land that we meet. The Gadigal people here in this wonderful city of the Aurora Nation. Firstly, I'd like to say a few weeks ago, our veterans got a call, as well as our activist committee from the MUA, to come down and support the community. With that, they come down, and with the great courage, as always the case, of those activists that don't need anything other than a call, they will be there in the communities fighting and alongside those workers and those communities in struggle. This struggle's ours. These are our communities. Doesn't matter where we live, these are our communities, and our communities right across this country are under attack. You know, we have a system where the political class, the ruling class, the big end of town, big business, run everything, own everything. And it's going to get worse. We have a situation in this state where the current state government late last year changed laws to prevent our peaceful protests. Laws aren't changed just because we protest. Laws change because we stand up and we defy those laws that are unjust. Your cause, your struggle is a just cause. It inspires us, myself, as a worker, and as a person in the community that I live in. We had a number of activists from the WestCONnex Resident Action Group down in our workplaces on the waterfront last week to talk about your struggle, what you face, to actually explain the real nature of what's occurring in this community, where that the closed-door deals of big business with government have allowed this this monstrosity to be developed, a business deal. This isn't a public road, as already explained. It's not infrastructure for the people. By the time this is handed back, most of us will either not be here or certainly well into our very later years of our life. So what we've got is a system that doesn't serve the interests of the people. Now's the time that we defy the laws. Now's the time we say to those instruments of government and the establishment, to the police, don't stand in our way. We're going to fight until we win. We're going to defy laws that are unjust. We will barricade. We will come back. You can smash us in the head. You can drag us away, but we'll be back in more numbers.
Yama, Yurundali, Biricha, Gunagunu, Gamilaroi, Gamilaroi. My name's Nathan, and I come from the Gamilaroi people of northwest New South Wales, and I was born just a few clicks out on Darrell land, which is part of this nation that we now call Sydney. But right now we're on Gadigal land, so I'd like to pay my respects to the Gadigal people, the ancestral beings, for allowing all of us to be here, but also me to be here. I'd like to pay my respects to the other brothers and sisters here, to Aunt who spoke. Like, just remember what she said, because she speaks a lot of truth with her words. You know, it's off the work of our elders that us young people have room to move and to navigate through this space. So if it wasn't for people like her and our other aunties and uncles in this struggle, fighting for our rights as First Nation people, because we haven't had the right to speak or practice our culture because of what's going on this land. So it's a true privilege and a blessing to be here. I'd like to acknowledge the MUA for also allowing us to be here and giving us the platform and to give us our voice back to speak for our own. So that's a very empowering thing, so I'd just like to acknowledge that. Thank you, brothers. And sisters as well, so thanks. So part of our ways of doing is we have stories, we have songs, and we have dances. You know, and as we know, this land's under attack. This thing we call Mother Earth, she's hurting. She's crying out for healing. She's crying out from the suffering of the extraction of the minerals, the gold and the oils and the gases. Back home we're fighting coal seam gas and we're fighting coal mines, some of the biggest in the southern hemisphere, and with the extensions and the bureaucracy that goes into it, it's absolutely ridiculous, But this is the fight that we fight today in our struggle, not only through colonisation or pre-invasion, but through invasion, and still here we're fighting. So it's an honour to stand here in solidarity with you fellas fighting this fight. So thank you. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sing up a smoking song, a healing song, to heal this land, to heal this place because of what's going on here. Don't get it twisted. This is just the beginning of what we're about to face. This is my life's journey, but not only that, this is going to be my children's journey. And as Aunt said, it's the oxygen. What are we going to leave for them? What are we going to leave for our children to inherit? Within this corporate greed and these social constructs, we're in a pretty bad situation. So it's about us coming together, having these dialogues, sharing this space, and how important it is that we share this space in the now, so that way we can come together. Because it's only been 228 years for us as First Nation mob that have been under this attack and the affairs that we're in. So I put the question back on you guys. What are you going to do in the next 228 years to help us get out of this mess? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sing this song. It's going to be an offering from me and my people, the First Nation people, the sovereign people, to not only heal this land, but to heal our hearts, heal our dua, our spirits. Because when we're in these situations, it does become hard. I understand the struggle has been a frontline warrior and standing up for what I believe in, what is right. So I'm going to offer this to you guys. I'm going to light the fire. And then in your own time, come up and cleanse your spirits, cleanse your hearts to keep them strong. Because like I said, this is just the beginning. Or could it be the end? The beginning of the end or the end of the beginning? Who knows?
Tulu, tulu, wait. Tulu, tulu, wait. Eulogy. Hey. 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 Bangin, bangin, tolo, tolo, ganai, ganai, bangin, bangin, tolo, 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 eulogy. Hey! 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 All together! Hey! Clap! Hey! 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 Whoa! Hey! It's an offering, so you can come up in your own time and do what you need to do. Our communities are under attack. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. MUA.